thinking about the players here when we're running these tournaments as well. We don't want to make it a bad experience for them. So we're hoping for 2 best-of-5s here, then the 2 best-of-7s, and a best-of-9 finals. But we will adjust if required. To the bottom right-hand side, our blue Zerg player from TSG, we have got Solar. Up against the pink Protoss in the top left corner of the map. Give it up for Zest. Alright, so game 1 of the best-of-5. Fresh and ready to go. Zest played a pretty funky, fun series against True yesterday. That went to all 5 games. That was a pretty exciting series, actually. And that was his round of 12 matchup. So, I'm not going to lie, it wasn't pretty. In fact, a lot of Zest games haven't been pretty. But that's what's so amazing about Zest. In the kind of the darkest of moments, he will be like, oh, I need to micro like a god? Okay, then. And then he micros like a god for the next 5 minutes. And you're like, but he was, like, meant to be dead. And, like, he's not dead. What? Huh? Huh? It's crazy the things that this guy can do. It really, really, truly is. So, I'm excited to see what happens here. Just before we get started, I want to say hello to all of you again. We're on the front page of Twitch today, which is very exciting. Hello to you all. Let me know if you tuned into the stream for the first ever time. Good to see you, and always excited to see new people around. Obviously, if you do enjoy, I do this sort of cast and tournament thing pretty regularly, pretty much daily. And you can hit that follow button to see when I'm going live. I don't have a strict schedule because it kind of depends on when the tournaments are and what's happening. So following really is the best way to sort of see what's up, what's going on, and stuff like that. So hit that follow button, see what's up, and it's good to have you guys with us. Feed My Call in the chat is hitting us up with the first time viewer. Awesome. Love to see it, love to see it. Welcome. Hope you have a good time as the Nexus dropping down here in the natural expansion. The Overlord of Solar coming in towards the upper left and having a good little scout around to see what's going on. What's up? Thank you so much for the $5 from N Kodok. Coming in with the $5 says, what did Batman say to Robin before they got in the car? Get in the car. Well, I mean, they're not wrong. It's a correct donation message. I can tell you that much at least. All right, awesome. What's up, Shakespeare? Says, love you, Wardy. Happy to see you. Experiencing so much success. Thanks for casting. No worries, dude. Excited to bring this tournament to you. We've had such great matches. It's truly just a pleasure. And ODSC Jacob says, I've been enjoying following you on YouTube. Really happy to see you live. Awesome, dude. Glad you could catch a live stream. I'm going to just apologize right now as well. I couldn't get a YouTube exclusive up last night, so I'm going to get one done hopefully for tonight. If not, I'll do an extra one for next week. But life just took a bit of a weird... The games just went very long yesterday, and so I didn't have the time I thought it would to get a YouTube match recorded. So I'll come up in the next few days instead. We usually do YouTube only cast 3 times a week, guys. Check that out as well, youtube.com/WardiTV. But for now, let's talk about this, because this game is obviously kicking off. We saw a lot of early game ZvP in the last few games, so we already know a lot about what's going on here. Which is why I'm not so kind of eager to talk about it too much. As we set up into this Stalker, firing away on this Overlord, the Oracle with the high ground vision, and again, because it's the Stalker, because there's an Oracle, we're not expecting to see the Phoenix here. We're expecting this to just be the double Oracle opening. Fueling's gonna not really be able to do anything against that Stalker because the Oracle's here to protect if needed. The Adept's in the wall, the Overlord goes down. And again, the Stalker-Oracle combo is able to do just as much as a Phoenix would there. So, into a Robo Facility and a Twilight Council as a follow-up right now. So getting that set up to go. And we do see this single Zergling running across down to the bottom right side of the map. X-Force with a couple of sub-gifts. Welcome Shakespeare and also ODST Jacob to the channel subs list. Welcome to the family via X-Force. Good to have you guys. You can spam some emotes now. Congrats. Actually going to do sub night next week as well, so make sure you get on that if you want to. Keep an eye out on the Discord. Anyways, I really need to stop talking about other things and talk about this game. Thank you so much, X-Force, for the gifted subs. Much appreciated as we see the Temple Archives dropping in on the natural expansion. The Robo Facility. Chrono boosting out the War Prison. Oracle's diving in and getting a couple of drones so far. Make that 3 and very nearly 4. In fact, it is going to get 4 right there. So the Oracle's doing a pretty good job of this. The Temple Archive's just about halfway done. Obviously just setting up in towards that Archon drop follow-up here. Now, we don't see Zest on a ton of gateways like Hero played a lot of the time when he got this setup going for himself. He doesn't go for 6 gates in total. It's just going to be the 4 gates. He'll take the third Nexus alongside that as he sets up with a few units just on that third to stay very safe. And of course, the Oracle's here to protect the High Templar as they warp in, and it's just not worthwhile for those Zerglings to jump on that there. Then they morph into Archons, and everyone is happy. Well, apart from Solar, because he's about to have Archons in his base, which is never really fun, but we'll see how he deals with it as we do see those couple of Archons lifted up into the Prism and starting to move forwards. Dropping down and already a Roach in the front, taking some shots. Good transfuse to keep it alive a little bit longer. And we're going to see that Overlord up in the skies getting picked off as well. So Overlord getting picked off right there. And again, just going to be seeing that Immortal about to pop out in the next few moments. So Immortal popping out from Zest in a sec or two. A couple of probes going to transfer down to the low ground. This third base on the low ground is interesting because it does feel very far away as he chases in for that Queen. Gets that quite nicely. Yeah, like, if you think about the distance from the natural wall to this third, it is really far, which really obviously makes it kind of tough to defend a little bit compared to just saying going along over here and maybe picking up the base right there. Pretty funky stuff. So interesting choices. You see a couple of Immortals being chrono boosted out. So a few Immortals being chronoed out right here. A couple of Zerglings heading down towards the third base, and they're just going to start nibbling away at that probe. Probe will go down. I'm just going to see the other couple of units showing up and able to get rid of some more Zerglings there. So, again, a couple of probes lost, nothing too ridiculous this game. While obviously there has been some action happening, it's just a fairly low work count. Actually, Solo's lost a few Overlords and the Queen as well. It's adding up in the resources lost, so that's actually having a fairly successful opener. And we can see now Solar is on 58 drones and he's starting to build up that massive Roaches in anticipation for the +1 missile attack upgrade. So it feels as though we're probably going to be seeing Solar going towards one of those very aggressive Roach Ravager attacks, which we've seen multiple times in the last couple of days. They've really been kicking off in terms of popularity in the ZvP matchup. Now, obviously, nothing crazy happens early game here, so you can see what this looks like when you go in unharassed, well, not unharassed, but without kind of a slower start. 7.5 minutes, 170 supply, currently supply block because of that Overseer that just got killed off. And this is terrifying. Like, what does Zest actually have? He's producing 2 Immortals at a time. But again, those Immortals are so far away. Ooh, that's a really nice stasis ward. Not only does it grab a bunch of Roaches, it kind of force fields other Roaches away from being able to join in here. Next stasis ward gets killed as the Immortals come in from the high ground. Oh, that stasis ward's going to finish. That's a huge amount of Roach Ravager caught in this here. Oh no, Solar's going to lose a lot. He actually can't get out with some of those units as well. And as extra units try and get away, Solar is taking a lot of damage. These 2 Archons coming back home as well. Even the Queens have made it across the map. The Phoenix will lift up one of those Queens so the Transfusion can't come in. And that's actually a really nice pickup here because that Transfusion of the Queen is pretty important. Transfusion's a Ravager right there, so it does come back. Probes are pulled in to deal with the units in the stasis, but these Immortals are going to do way too much. One hell of a soul from Zest. What a stasis ward or 2. That was no lead in the series. Here on Bandwidth, we have to the bottom left corner our pink Protoss player. This is Zest. Up against the blue Zerg in the top right-hand side. Give it up if you're cheering on Solar. Jeans Like Me comes in with the Twitch Prime sub as well. Thank you so very much. And I guess just at the start of the game, I'll mention if you guys, I mean, we've got a lot of people in here today. I imagine some of you guys have got a Twitch Prime account. And if you've got a Twitch Prime account and you haven't used your Twitch Prime sub, and you're enjoying the stream, you want to show some love, that Twitch Prime sub is free to give. Give that subscribe button top right a little click, and if you've got that Twitch Prime sub available, consider gifting it out. We'd love to have it. We'll give it a good home for the month. We'll keep it well fed and ready to give on to the next streamer in a month's time. So do check that out if you've got a Twitch Prime subscription. Even if you don't sub to me, sub to someone else with it. No reason not to. Support the streamers. Keep us producing content. Gateway drops it down at the front from Zest. Begin to wall off here on Bandwidth. A bit more of a regular map. This map coming in from the standard section. It's kind of your typical 1 base, 2 base, 3 base, 4. You know, you can maybe a Terran player will take this as their 3rd base, but in general, 3 base, maybe 4th here, maybe 4th there, maybe a forward 5th. There's a few different options, but in general, it is your kind of standard go-to map. It's got everything you expect a standard map to have: regular size main, pretty regular rush distance, a couple different attack paths, some rocks to open up some more attack paths. I mean, this map feels a lot like Coda actually, from Heart of the Swarm. Coda was a very popular ladder map for a little while. And, yeah, Coda was this really popular ladder map for a while, and I'm surprised we never saw Coda come back to the map pool for a little while. So, this is kind of like a take on Coda, I almost feel like, with the kind of a few adjustments for Legacy of the Void units and stuff, Liberators, etc. So, the middle of the map very different to what Coda's middle looked like, though, but the base layout very similar. Has Rogue played just yet? No. Rogue is going to be playing Hero after this series. So the schedule for the day is going to be the Solar versus Zest series. Then we have Hero versus Rogue in the first semi-final. Then we have the winner of Solar Zest going up against Sue in the other semi-final. Then we have the grand final. So that's what's going on. Nice quick third hatchery here from Solar. Going to just get him set up nice and early in towards the 3 bases. Get a couple queens out afterwards. And yeah, this 2-minute third base has been something we saw True do in pretty much every game against Zest yesterday. Just gives you a few options. I mean, it's basically instead of building double queen, you just invest into that third hatch nice and quick. You get it down, you get it rolling. And then you just kind of build up the queens, the lings, and go into everything else. Is the Oracle opening once again. Again accompanied by the Stalker, so looking to kill this Overlord. And I'm pretty sure this Overlord's going to go down very fast, because it's already pretty low, this Overlord. So that's just looking to complete the wall off here in a moment. And there's the Oracle for the high ground vision. The Stalker wasn't in location, though. We'll come around the top side. Hey, that Overlord's actually dangerously close to getting away, actually. It is going to go down. The Stalker will fall. And the Oracle will have to use its Pulse Beam to protect the Stalker against the Zerglings. Gets caught again. Ah, Oracle, help out. Thank you. The Stalker's like, dude, can you not see that I'm under attack over here? The Oracle's like, well, you know, I can see that you're under attack, but I want to help you. I mean, remember that time you actually accidentally A-clicked on me and did some damage? Like, you know, I wasn't a fan of that. And the Stalker's like, I'm actually going to die here, dude. Finally, the Oracle helps out. He gets convinced in the end. Twilight Council, Robo Facility on the way up. Just heading into the next stage of this. Yeah, if Zest wins this series, it will be 2 more ZvPs in the semi-finals, but honestly, I'll take them, especially just for, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing 1 ZvZ in the semi-final. The fact we have 1 ZvP semi-final is already pretty nice, I think. I wouldn't mind seeing 1 ZvZ semi-final, but I really think that ZvP is a great matchup compared to ZvZ for testing maps, because sometimes the ZvZ will be like, oh my god, Ling Bane, and boom. We learned Lings can run across it, which, believe it or not, happens on most maps. So, yeah, ZvP in terms of testing maps, which is what this tournament's all about, is obviously kind of a little bit of a nicer matchup. But it will be what it will be. As we see these couple of gateways starting to morph in here from Zest. There's a couple of gates coming down in the main base, going to be seen as few Zerglings heading up that ramp into the natural, but fairly unsuccessful. More Zerglings of Solar coming up through the center, and a few High Templar warping in on the right-hand side. So a few High Templar warping in, going to morph into a couple of Archons, and just a few Zerglings heading up and hanging out on the top side of the map. A couple of people mentioning frame drops. I dropped like maybe 3 seconds of frames, if that. So it hasn't been anything major, so it should be okay again now. Hopefully it's all good for you guys. I dropped a few frames earlier on today as well. I think it's just something that's going to be just a couple every hour or so. But I don't think it's too major, so hopefully not. Let me know if it gets bad or anything, you guys. I can look a little bit further into it, but I think it should be okay for the moment. As we see a few Zealots just going to come in and get rid of a few Lings here. Obviously, the Oracles across the map are actually going to get a few more drones in this main base. No Queen on it. It was down on the natural, so 6 workers going to go for 7 on the gas to make that 8. Zest doesn't like the idea of getting 9 kills though. Oh, that Oracle so close to going down. Thought he might have pulled a bit more away up here into like the safer area before backing away. But it works out for him, so gets back home as a couple of Archons still fighting at the front. And again, good damage being dealt early. We do see the extra gates this time around, so not just 4, not just going up to 6 gates, but 8 gates in total. Now it's not a super fast 8 gates. The third base is up. He's still building probes, but he will have a lot of warping potential here, and it definitely feels like with no Forge coming up or second Robo, it seems like Zest will be going for a big push onto the 3 bases of Solar. So Zest definitely looking to kind of just build up right now. Now, that said, Solar is also not building drones, is building Lings and Hydras. Now, the Lings especially, I think, are a bit of a giveaway, because Lings are the sort of unit you build when it's like, okay, I don't have gas, but I want even more units to attack with here. So Solar's getting aggressive, but Zest is going to match it with so many gateways of units. And Zest's actually going to get aggressive himself. So these guys are going to clash while continuously building units against each other. First few Zerglings going down. I mean, Solar now sees that Zest is going to be the aggressor. He's like, okay, well, come at me, bro. Our worker counts are the same. And if you're attacking into me, well, I'd rather that happen than me attacking into you. So going to see these units coming back around towards the front then. So looking for a bit more of an open area. And this definitely is it. Smoke Crawler going to come down to the low ground to hit that prism and to maybe mess up the AI of the units a little bit. The force fields come down and then nicely placed. That Smoke Crawler takes a couple of shots. So obviously his army supply is starting to really crank up now a little bit. And I think Zest realizes, okay, let's just back away, send a prism in to harass a little bit. And you know, if you don't want to build drones, that's fine. But you're going to have to attack into me if that's the case. And I'm going to build some more probes and set up into my next stage of the game. Storm starting up and all the rest of it. So here we go. I mean, Solar's about to hit Hydra speed, and that should be the trigger for him to actually move across the map here. So here we go. Solar getting aggressive once again. Thank you so much, Online Strategy. DK, thank you so much for the 200 bits. Do appreciate it. And a quick question from the chat. Would it be decent just to clear up all the creep with Archons and an Observer instead of getting unit kills? It's much better to get unit kills, but if you can't get unit kills because the defense is too good, the next best thing is to just clean up creep spread. So unit kills are way better though, because it slows the Zergs down so much. The creep spread, especially in ZvP, is not anywhere near as influential as like ZvT, where continuous pushes and fights happen all the time on creep. So in ZvP, you definitely want to be focusing for those units, but the creep is kind of a nice alternative. As you see, the Zealot's going to come out of the stasis. There are a couple of Lings getting caught in stasis, but no major kind of Hydras or Roaches caught up in there. Storm is still on the way, not done yet. 20 seconds to go, and I'm pretty sure that'll have a chrono boost on it. No way, does it not? Wow. And one more coming down from the natural. Now he goes down, somehow stays alive as Solar sort of says, okay, well, you stay alive then, buddy. Comes in, gets it now. We'll warp in a few Zealots to hold that ramp. We always saw this on Coda as well, this sort of high ground third and natural, but with the low ground between them. Makes it pretty interesting the way you have to defend. You kind of usually have a couple more units split up over here with some sentries there, the force field. And here we go, Storm is done. That's the main thing Zest is waiting for. Another way to hold that natural is just to push the army away from the third base. Hallucinates the Colossus, and look how much damage it's taking, because Solar is busy taking fights elsewhere. And Zest is going to crush this army of Solar. These few units on the natural have been the most effective of all, as the corrosive pile actually lands on a couple of mortals. But Zest is and so on actually take up a lot of supply, but are very weak. They're very good because you can mass them up, but overall they're very weak to, say, like Immortals or something. And so the composition that we had of kind of like Immortals there and Archons, with the +1 attack in his favor as well for Zest, it's a very well-teched up composition in comparison to Solar, who's kind of just spamming mid-tier units. And the fact of the matter is, Zest's mid-tier units are better than Solar's, and Solar's army is meant to max out and just overwhelm. But when it doesn't overwhelm and Zest can get Storm up especially, I mean, Storm's the big thing. You get Storm against a fight like that, you're never going to lose, I don't think, because the Storm is so powerful. And any attack from Solar like that is meant to come in before Storm. So Zest did a good job of slowing it down, buying time, waiting, and he just had all the tools and the units that he needed to then engage in. And it was an absolute stomp at that point, and that's why it went so one-sidedly. Top left-hand side, our red Zerg player is Solar. Here on Thunderbird has these central mineral patches, which we've seen mined out a couple of times, and there's only 5 minerals on them, so definitely something we've seen before and definitely could see again. As to the bottom right-hand side, our pink Protoss player is Zest. Deadguy99 gets the gifted sub, then gifts out a sub. I'm loving the continuation of love in the chat today, guys. This is the second time that's happened. Deadguy99 gifts out a sub to Oogboy. Welcome, Oogboy, to the chat as well. Welcome to the Wardy family. Good to have you. Probe. Just going to pop up to the high ground here. Just going to be seeing the pylon dropping down on the right-hand side, and the Overlord just coming down towards the bottom right. And again, a couple of extra hatcheries just coming into play as well. probe coming down towards the bottom right-hand side, and Zeb's coming across, having a little bit of a look to see what's going on. Twilight Council coming up, and just going to be seeing that about halfway done. Again, this Adept just coming in towards the upper left, so having a little bit of a look to see what's going on. And seeing what's happening. Link speed starting on up, and we are just going to see this Adept. Again, shading around up in the main base. Okay, so early game here. First fast robo from Zest. After the Twilight Council, it's going to be that Dark Shrine opening straight into the Archon drop. Overload taking a little bit of damage. Heads up to the high ground, so taking a few extra shots there. And we're just going to be seeing the Adept continue to shade down to the bottom right-hand side. A few Zerglings coming over from Solar. Zest just going to send that single Adept forwards back into the main base. So going to keep it very safe as Solar continue drawing up just a little bit. So a few drones coming out. Dark Shrine dropping down in the main. I'm just going to see again the Lings poking forwards. The Stalker able to push back there quite easily. Another Pro or two just continuing to come out for the moment. Lair, Road Drone starting up as well here from Solar. As that Warp Prism finishes, Zest will be able to start bringing this forwards onto the map. So obviously expecting those DTs to start coming in. We'll see if he gets a second Warp Prism as well. It's a fairly common thing to do. When you go for the DT opening, you have 2 sets of DTs and 2 sets of Archons, then eventually dropping around and dealing damage. Solar going into a lair, which is only halfway done, so he is going to be reliant on the Spore Crawlers initially to defend. Zest is going to whoop in these DTs right on the edge of this third base. Zergling's actually going to run out onto the map. There's only 3 DTs initially. As they run forwards, they'll go straight for that Queen. Just didn't have the money for a 4th DT right away there as he lifts up, just kiting backwards a little bit, getting away from the full Lings around to sort of minimize damage. Another DT lifting up. A couple more DTs as well. And the Prism just heading out over to the right-hand side. It's going to be seeing the Dark Templar open in one more time here. There's a couple of Archons just setting up, ready to maybe jump over this set of minerals and ready to do a little bit of damage. So Cryptima taking some hits. Archons doing quite a good job of this at the moment. Zerglings will go down. Queen's taking some hits as well. Oh my god, doesn't get either of those Queens. And obviously it would have been nice because the Prism's taking so many hits. The Prism can't stick around. Don't want to risk losing the DT, the Archons and the Warp Prism, so you have to back away from there. Fourth drops down from Zest. Extra gates, and the third next is going to expand to the low ground. Wow, that's so interesting because this base over here is actually very easily taken. It's very well defended because unless you mine out the minerals here, there's no other way in. So I'm extremely surprised to see Zest expanding to the low ground. Huh, that's so weird. How very interesting as you see the Spire on the way up here now from Solar. So heading in towards the Mutalisks as a follow-up. We haven't had to see Zest deal with Mutas just yet. We saw obviously Hero dealing with some Mutalisks a little bit earlier on as the Archons going to get rid of a few more Creep Teamers, so just clean up as much of this as possible. Observer going to unsiege and get away. Just pulling back before the Overseer and the Queen comes in to pick it off. Road speed about to finish up, and again the extra few Zerglings coming in towards the upper side of the map. Spire going to be completing very shortly. And the charge from Zest going to be done very soon too. Zest just coming across towards the upper side. Couple of Archons getting some shots off, and you see the Stalker able to pick up the Creep Tumor there as well. He's running through. Just going to go after a couple of probes here. So probes going to take a little bit of damage. Just a little bit of damage dealt. Zerglings now hopping up in towards the main, well, in towards the natural expansion. Extra Zerglings being taken down. And this army of Zest pulling back to towards the bottom right. A couple of hallucinations going to go forwards. Now this is super important because seeing the Spire or even just the Mutas spawning would be big for him. Nothing in the third base though. Where is the Spire in the natural? You can see he's sort of making his way over there. He sees it. He actually already saw it before. But it was building. Maybe he just didn't know what it was. He hasn't responded to it at all, really. A couple of cannons, a shield battery or two on the way up. But no sign of a Stargate or anything along those lines. Just getting the Archons and the Prism as well to move around and harass, I guess. Zell currently holding the position on the wall off, so stopping that Immortal getting out at the moment. How funky that is. So going to be seeing the few changelings coming across. The mutas are going to be arriving in the next couple of moments. Blink and +2 currently building, so now finally a bit more of a response to the Mutalisks. I mean, I guess it'll still be there by the time the mutas become more of an issue if you continue to build more than 7. But there's still not a lot to be able to deal with them here initially as they fly on in. Well, Archon's might run around, the Warp Prism will go down. It's already a bit of an annoyance as the shield battery here will keep some of these probes up and healthy, so minimizing damage taken. And the first few mutas not doing a lot, and Zest just going to continue building on up. Solar almost maxed out, but it is very much so heavily based on roaches. And there's not even many Ravagers mixed in here. So again, we talk about that supply and how it can be a bit misleading at times. This is definitely one of those situations. As we see roaches and Ravagers heading over to the right. The mutas from Solar back down to the bottom. Heading in towards the main base here. So again, Stalkers and Immortals hanging out. Over a couple of Stalkers dealing some damage as well. Archon's lifting up into the Warp Prism too, and again, this army of Solar coming down the right side. The Stalker's going to end up warping in. Some more Stalkers will warp in. Ling's taking some hits right there. A couple of corrosive vials, and the Stalkers have to split away and back away. Roaches continue to take quite a lot of damage here as the corrosive vial hits on one of the Stalkers already. I'm just going to be seeing Solar back through the bottom side of the map. Ready to dive on in. Just going to be seeing the Stalkers still pressing forwards again, the Roaches and the Ravagers. Sticking them around, a couple of force fields coming down, and the Roaches taking some big hits right there. Just trying to come in towards the back of the Natural, and we're probably going to be seeing still this army of Zest pushing up through the top side. Stalkers here going to still blink on in after those mutas, and the mutas getting chased away, so the mutas going down, and now Zest's army the biggest threat of all. However, not going to commit much further. Lurker den on the way up from Solar, so he's going to have a transition set up here. The Lurker is going to be available for him shortly. It's going to be pretty big, as that still doesn't have a 4th base, but should be able to throw down this base on the bottom side quite easily, right? So he should be able to take this here. Muscular Augments on the way up, +1 missile attack. Going to finish in a moment or two as well. Stalkers continue to blink over the left-hand side. The High Templar taking some damage from these mutas. A couple Stalkers. Don't have the blink for the last one, but don't really need to kill that final Mutalisk, right? Well, this is really going to go into a bit of a longer game. Solar has mined out these minerals and is expanding through the top side, while obviously Zest decided to do anything but that. Big blink onto those Roaches. The issue is there's so many Stalkers here from Zest, and Stalkers do not trade that well against the Lurkers. They don't really have much mobility, they don't have a good way to kind of deal with them at all compared to Zeld, which charge in and get on top of them very fast. And looking forward to another couple of Roaches going down here. And that's just going to continue to hang out up on the high ground. Solar maxed out, Zest heading towards being maxed out. And we still have this army just pulling across into the center, and Roaches, Ravagers, and Hydras still setting up too. A couple of, a Storm drops down. Zest pulling back up to the high ground here. Zerglin's going to go running into the 3rd, 4th base, so he actually will hit the 4th. That's probably going to be a cancel here because there's just not enough units, right? I mean, warping as many Zealots as you like, right? Surely it's not going to be in time. Oh, yes, she is going to back it away with a couple of DTs. Oh, but he lets the Zealotlings into the Natural. The Zealot not in position. And those Lings going to continue being annoying, but Shield Battery and Cannons probably will clean it up, so actually not the end of the world. 5th base will be denied. It's done pretty well for Zest then. Just needs, well, does he have detection? He has no observer here, right? He has no observer with this army. It's actually out in the center of the map, so he has one nearby. We'll knock down these rocks just so he has a bit of a better pathway away from this position. If he brings our observer forwards, he needs to be careful it doesn't get sniped down by a few Hydras. Big Roach counterattack, but no Overseer. Oh no, there is an Overseer, so that's big because he needs to be able to make sure the DTs can't fight against him. Let's push a bit further forwards. Zealots are in pretty good numbers as well, though, so it's a good amount of units to clean this up. And obviously, yes, Solar can kite. These Roaches are going down. Blinking in there, we're going to see the Stalkers able to shut those down, so good defense again by Zest. Still not taking any damage. His 4th base up and running, although those probes not correctly mining. Just needs to fix that. As soon as he goes over here next time around, he'll realize that and should fix that up instantly. So, those probes just being super AFK. That's a little bit unfortunate, but again, Should be fixed soon enough. That's not the end of the world. Now the lurkers are right here, so he's just going to jump on them. The rest of the army out of position. Again, though, the stalkers are just so... They just feel like they don't do much here. Like, I feel if zealots were there, they would have been right on top of them, dealing so much damage. Stalkers just don't have that. We still also have this base not mining properly across the map. The storm coming down here. The High Templar is going to keep on dropping the storms. That's extremely important in these fights. It feels like Solar's supply isn't really going anywhere, while Zest is just dropping off faster and faster. Zest still not mining with those pros, and that is such... I mean, you'd think he'd go back as well to, like, fix the workers on the gas as well. But hasn't been able to do that just yet. As Solar holding on for the moment. Looks as though he's just got those workers mining. Zest will get a bit more of the eco than he should have had already. Another storm is still dangerous, and I mean, it's just those lurkers. There's so many of them. He keeps pressing forwards. The lurker count is dropping. The storms are very good on top of a lot of the lings and hydras. Zealot's now showing up to help out as well. Another big storm. Now, if he gets rid of these last few lurkers, and there's only really hydras and ravagers, though he doesn't really have anything beyond there. Like, he doesn't have any storms left over. These couple of archons are really just going to come in too late. And there's no prison to save anything of this either, so Solo will clean this army up. And Zest dropped down to just 20 army supply remaining. He starts to build Tempests, but I kind of feel like with this many Hydras still on the map, Tempests are just going to get overrun. Just going to see the Hydras and Ravagers moving around this right side. He's opened up with some of these mineral patches as well. These Zealots are just going to get caught though. They trade pretty well for the moment, but they need to start backing away. But it's a hard map to back away on because these rocks aren't down. These minerals are still up in the center too. Looks like Zest Solo will take this forward base. He is only on 4 bases still, so in terms of economy, he is starting to mine out. So Zest is still in this. I mean, he's denied a lot of the eco of Solar, and Solar's not being able to counterattack fast enough to take advantage of when Zest really had no army left. Now there's Tempest and stuff up too, with a little bit of support. I'm much more of a believer in these Tempests than I was a couple moments ago. Still, it just took a little while to come across the map here. And I mean, another good storm. Obviously, the Tempest can fight those lurkers from a distance. Just needs detection. Observer just needs to move forwards a little bit. Storm's on the lurkers right there. Oh my god, Zest is messing this up quite a lot, I think, actually, because he's been put under so much pressure. He feels almost as though he has to just keep pressing forwards. If he gets rid of the Overseers, he can maybe bring the DTs in to clean up. The Zealots keep charging forward. It's messy from Zest. He's going to clean this up because there's nothing to actually fight against the Tempests. Void Ray's shown up as well. It was messy though. Like, again, the High Templar could have just pulled away. He could have just left the Tempest to kind of deal with this, I feel. So that's just... still has that 4th base, but no sign of a 5th. Again, as he cleans up, his economy is still good. 60 workers to 58, so as a Protoss player, that's very good for you. And you can see Solar has a little bit of an advantage right now. But Solar has mined a bit more in this game. That's why resources lost is in Zest's favor. And as Solar mines out a little bit, Zest will maybe start to take an income lead, although perhaps not because Solar has this 5th base now. That would be true if Solar was kept on to just the 4 bases. He is pressing forwards. I mean, again, like, he was just missing that detection in position a little bit before. Zest building a lot of Void Rays at the moment as well. Get some more High Templar up, building up those storms. Needs that energy. The storms are absolutely crucial in this composition. Again, these extra couple of voids about to finish up. Karuna boosting away. Mortal being brought out as well. +2 flyer attacks are still upgrading the air units here. Observer takes a bit of a forward position. Means he can get rid of some of these lurkers for free. And that's a nice pick off there with the Tempests. I mean, anything you can get. Like, whenever you can kill a lurker and it doesn't cost you anything, that's amazing, right? However, Viper's now in play, and that's where the Vipers, where these Tempests and so on will start being in a little bit more trouble. Unless he hits the feedbacks. Hits the one a little bit too late. Storms the Hydras, but the Tempest already went down. If you hit the other Viper with the feedback, would have been a bit more deadly. Would have not quite killed it, but would have been close. Again, seen a few more lurkers morphing in, and this is a bit of a standoff because Zest is holding this forward 3rd base, and Zest Soul is holding this forward 5th. Oh, DT sneaks into this top base, and I'll tell you what, there is not any detection here already, so a few drones going down, and I mean, Solar's not in a position to lose workers, right? He was already in a bit of a weaker economy. And now as he pulls army back to deal with this, Zest takes the chance to move forward. He has so many lurkers. No way can he just dive right into that there. He needs to slowly pick away at it with the Disruptors and so on, with the Tempests and so on. I was just thinking Disruptors might be a decent way to do it as well. Storm's dropping down on the Hydras here. Single Tempest getting abducted in. Another Storm dropping down. Hydra's taking some more damage. A couple more Overlords on the way up. Some more Hydras building. Storm drops again. This army of Solar getting really tagged up at the moment. And the rest of this just still sitting out the front. Zest. I still like his position, man, as they get maxed out. I feel like Zest's army is better than Solar's. Like with these Tempests and so on, Lurkers generally have like a sell-by date on them, and that sell-by date is in the next couple of minutes, really, as more Tempests come up especially. I mean, the Lurkers are still going to be great on the ground, but this air army is starting to really build up. What would really be the deal breaker is if Zest was to get some carriers out. That would really change things. I'm extremely surprised Zest has not mined out these minerals. It's only 5 minerals a patch. It doesn't take long to open up access to this 5th base, and he will start mining out soon. So, currently oversaturated, the economy is going to be in Solar's favor because he has a fresh base. So that's going to try and take the far right-hand side. It's really interesting. I really feel this is just the easier and safer base to take. Solar is so close to that base, it takes him one unburrow and burrow of the Lurkers just to boom, be on top of it, and immediately it's in so much trouble. Revelation drops down, sees the Lurkers. Obviously that's where the Tempests come into their own, able to fight with the full effect of their range. And pick away at those Lurkers, again, without really costing them anything at all. Some Zealots around the top, some Zealots around the left. I like these two different areas of attack. And we go for the Overseer here. Maybe again wants to bring the DTs into play. Nice Storm as the Hydras try and come forward. That's the issue. The Hydras can't get on top of the Tempests. That's where the Vipers are important to get those feedbacks. You'll see some Roaches already picked off here. These Zealots going to hit a mineral line as well. And this is all happening while obviously Zest is applying a lot of pressure, so Solar has to split up and do all sorts here. A couple of Hydras getting picked away at. These Zealots going huge. I mean, that's already 12 drones down. And this Hatchery is going to fall as well, actually. I mean, this is where the Tempests come back into play, although he did lose a couple of them to the Vipers. Oh my god, these Zealots are just not being cleaned up here at all. This counter-attack from Zest is doing huge amounts of damage. Voider is coming forwards. And you see the Viper taking another few shots up there. Parasitic Bomb getting dropped. Some more Storms dropping down. I mean, this is just the moment, right? If he just split the Voids a little bit against those Parasitic Bombs, but, well, there's just a few Lurkers left over. Nowhere near what this once was, although Zest still has an army supply advantage. Zest pulling back. You can just get rid of these few Hydras. The Lurkers burrow up on the front and will get his way through a couple of these gateways. And the Tempest just tighten backwards here. Some extra Zealots charging in. It's the Lurkers that are still causing a lot of issues. But as soon as the Hydras go down, the Void Rays will just clean up everything else with nothing to fight against them. 2 Void Rays remaining, 2 Tempests as well. The Void's pulling back, only 1 Void Ray remaining. The army supplies have evened out here. The Tempests are now the only thing really remaining here. Extra Zealots warping in, and that's enough from Zest to call the GG. And Zest freezes.